So the 5 Fs of franchising is a methodology that we've used through the years with working with franchisors to diagnose their business and give them a solution to the biggest pain points that we've identified that they come across. So the 5 Fs of franchising are franchise network, focused team, fantastic reputation, fill the funnel, and find that fit. And they all mean something. We've come up with the 5 Fs analogy just because it's easy to remember, and it's not. They've now become the mantra of our franchisors, because if there's something wrong with one of the Fs, and then you can identify it easily and you can work on it. So I'll start with fantastic reputation. It sounds pretty self-explanatory, and it's very important for any type of business, not just franchises, but it's also very important for franchises, even more so. Your reputation precedes you. You can't expect people and businesses to buy from you if you have a poor reputation online or offline. In this particular example with franchising, your franchisees are your brand ambassadors as well, and you need to make sure that you have stable processes where you manage your reputation and their reputation online, because one negative review is proven that could cost you up to 20 potential clients, people that have discovered your business online, you've spent the money on marketing to attract them, to acquire that potential lead, and then they see that negative review of one client. Maybe it was a client that was unreasonable, but they just decided to complain for no reason, and then that can put off potentially 20 clients that were going to use you. So imagine the negative effect of one review. So this is why we always say that every franchisor and franchisee should aim for having a fantastic reputation for the brand, and that is achieved through managing the reputation, making sure that you follow your reviews online, you encourage your happy clients to leave positive reviews. If you do get a negative review, it does happen, but you need to be on it. You need to respond to it, try to take it offline, try to provide a solution to the client, no matter how reasonable or unreasonable they are, because that will have a butterfly effect for the next clients. The second one is franchise network. I mentioned it earlier, your success as a franchisor is based on your franchisee success. That is how franchisors make money, out of royalties, and if their franchisees are successful and their revenue grows, the franchise royalties grow, and a franchise is only successful when their franchisees are successful. And there's this quote that really resonates with me when I talk about franchisee success. It goes, you're only as strong as your weakest link. If you see the franchising network as a link, the weakest link, or your the weakest franchisee, or the one that is your underperformer, that is how successful your franchise brand is in general. So here we talk a little bit about, and we help franchisors set up processes in place where you've got KPIs and reports to identify how each franchisee is performing, either on a monthly or quarterly basis, and you then compare them to the previous quarter, to other franchisees in a similar area, so that you can identify an underperformer. And once you identify someone that is struggling for one reason or another, it could be that they're having some personal issues, or they're struggling with the business, or they need extra sales training or training of the staff. Regardless, the role of the franchisor is there to support them throughout that. And I think this is the most important part of the franchising network point. The franchisor role is there as an ongoing, continuous support. It's not only to sell the franchise and shake hands with the franchisee, but to make sure that they are successful and to provide and facilitate that and nurture that environment for the franchisee to be successful throughout their journey. So that would be having a focused team, and I usually explain it as you need to hire A players for your business. As
Mm-hmm.
simple as that. If you want to be successful, you need to be hiring A players and surrounding yourself with A players. And we're talking here about the head office of the franchisor, because many franchisors make that mistake of thinking I can do it all by myself.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not a that's not a one-man show anymore. If it was when it was your own business, now when you franchise out, you will need that support. You will need an operations manager or a marketing manager. And in order for you to be focused on the high value tasks for your business that are going to bring high value to your business, you need to be able to delegate and
Mm-hmm.
those tasks to other people. Or I've seen other franchisors hiring interns just the costs,
Right.
thinking that they'll do with them, but you need those really good and experienced top level players for your business, so that you can ensure your franchise being successful. And the fourth one is to fill your funnel of leads. Ultimately, growth is not only about growing your franchisees' revenue, but also growing the network and the number of franchisees, or expanding onto new territories. This is where we go extremely hard with marketing training, marketing campaigns with the franchisors, so that they can advertise and market the opportunity for areas that they're still not in, and sell the franchise, which is a great, that part of the business provides a great return on investment. So making sure that you have a steady lead flow in your
Mm-hmm.
sales funnel to sell the franchise is again very important for the success of a franchise brand. And lastly is the find that fit, the fifth one, which is pretty self-explanatory, but it's all about converting those franchise leads into a successful franchisee. So if you want to be successful, you can't just sell your franchise to anybody. You
Right.
need to have a buyer persona. You need to know who your ideal customer avatar is, and you need to know who will be successful if they bought from you. Because if you
Mm-hmm.
sold it to someone just for the act of selling it, then if they close the location, or if they're underperforming, they're only causing you more stress to the business rather
Right.
than bringing any positives. So making sure that you select that franchisee, and you also have a great onboarding process after that,
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that you create that initial environment of success for them is of importance. And we help franchisors do exactly that. First, create a lead qualification process to make sure that you're
Mm-hmm.
selecting the best candidate, but also making sure that you onboard them correctly so that they can set off on their entrepreneurial journey with a great head start.
Right. Well, because that's what I was thinking too, like you said earlier about managing your reputation. But if you're just selling a franchise to sell a franchise and you're not really doing your due diligence, and that person who, comes in and starts a franchise and maybe, doesn't know anything about business and isn't following the process, can really make your name look bad. But, not that they're intending to do that necessarily either. But that was, one of the thoughts that I was thinking of as you were talking about that. And even was wondering, do they even do anything like any type of testing, whether it's personality testing or skills testing or anything like that, to help them determine who might be good for their franchises?
Yeah, absolutely. So some franchisors are very meticulous in their choices, others
Mm,
not that much, but we always encourage them to have a very crystal clear idea of who they want to get, because everyone who touches the business becomes your partner. Uh,
mm-hmm.
Someone buying a franchise from you is ultimately like a marriage. You want to make sure that you know that person. Well, the
Right.
analogy is funny, but yeah, you want to make sure that you've got the right person there, and that's going to become a continuous relationship to stay in time and last in time. So some franchisors that we work with actually do testing. They do put them in stressful situations,
Mhm.
or they do role playing, they do personality testing, as you said. But those are the ones that know exactly whom they're after. Others would just rely on first background experience and so forth, and will have 6 or 7 or 8 or 10 steps interview processes.
Mhm.
And those can be like on the spots with clients in different scenarios, or undergo some training, see how they perform in the training, and then take a final decision. So it really depends on the franchisor, but I would say it's definitely a good idea to get to know that person as quickly as possible. And the moment you're marketing your business, you're already starting to clarify what your buyer persona is, because when you're
Mhm.
running ads on Facebook or other social media, you need to be able to describe whether you'd like to target, what sort of age group, what sort of demographic group, and so forth. So you are sort of clearing the picture in your head. But once you have the first pilot franchisee, then you know
Mhm.
what you don't want, and you know
Yeah,
what
right.
you do want. Yeah.